tongue twisters. They're more than just, fun little things to trip you up.
Right.
They can actually help with learning a language.
It's true, they can. Little pronunciation secret weapons, those tongue twisters.
That's a great way to put it. So we've got this article. It's called 65 English Tongue Twisters to Practice Pronunciation. It's got a ton of examples. Some you'll know, some are win.
Real brain bender.
Yeah, and it breaks them down by difficulty, which is cool.
Oh, that's smart. Gotta ease into those tongue twisters, right? You wouldn't start with the heaviest weights at the gym.
Exactly. You work up to it. So how about, just to get started, an easy one. How about She Sells Seashells by the Seashore?
Classic. And see, that repetition, all those S sounds, it makes you really think about where your tongue is, where your teeth are. It all matters.
And it's so much harder than it seems when you first read it.
Oh, yeah.
I still mess it up sometimes. Okay, another classic. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Another good one. See, tongue twisters are great for language learning because they make you slow down and pay attention to every single sound. And that's crucial for speaking clearly and fluently.
It's like a workout for your mouth.
Exactly. You're turning your tongue, your vocal cords, everything's working together.
It's not just for fun, although it is fun.
No, absolutely. The fun is a big part of it.
But there's a real purpose behind them. And speaking of purpose, this article has 65 tongue twisters.
Wow, 65.
I had no idea there were so many. So let's talk about those difficulty levels. You've got easy, intermediate, and difficult, right?
Yeah, that's how they break it down.
Can you give us some examples of each level?
Sure. So easy would be something like red lorry, yellow lorry. Short, simple, easy to repeat those sounds.
Okay, let's see.
Then you bump it up to intermediate, something like, how can a clam cram in a clean cream can?
Oh my gosh. My tongue is already twisted.
And then for the brave, the difficult level.
Oh yeah, hit me with it.
How about brisk, brave brigadiers brandished broad, bright blades, blunderbusses, and bludgeons, balancing them badly.
Wow. I need a nap after that one. But seriously, that's incredible. I can definitely see how they get harder and harder. Is it just the length of the phrase that makes it difficult?
Not just the length, no. It's about the specific sounds and how close together they are. Like that really long one. That one's actually in the Guinness Book of World Records for being one of the hardest tongue twisters.
No way. A tongue twister with a world record.
Yeah. Tongue twisters are serious business. And you know what else is interesting? They can reveal how your native language influences your pronunciation.
Really? That's fascinating. Tell me more about that.
Well, think about it. Sounds that aren't in your first language, those can be the trickiest to learn.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, for example, someone whose native language doesn't have the sound, they might have a hard time with a tongue twister like the six sheep sick. They might even swap it out with the sound they were used to.
That makes total sense. It's like your brain is wired a certain way based on the language you grew up with.
Exactly, like a pronunciation template that you then try to use for other languages. What about you? Any English sounds you find tricky?
Me, oh yeah. Definitely. I have a few. It's funny because you'd think working with language so much it'd all be easy.
Well, I have to be careful of certain sounds too. The V and the W, for example, they're so subtle I sometimes catch myself slipping up.
That's amazing. You, a language expert, still have sounds you have to watch out for.
Everyone has their pronunciation quirks, it's true. And that's one of the great things about tongue twisters. They can help pinpoint those subtle challenges, the ones we might not even realize we have.
So we've talked about the power of tongue twisters, the different difficulty levels, and even how they can reveal the influence of our native language. This article has some great additional tips, too, for improving pronunciation, even beyond tongue twisters.
Oh, yeah. Lots of good stuff in there.
Like reading aloud, recording yourself.
Watching videos of native speakers, that's a good one.
And of course, taking lessons with a tutor can make a big difference. But even without a tutor, there's so much you can do. This article even suggests using tongue twisters as a warm-up before those English lessons.
Oh, absolutely.
Loosen up those tongue muscles. Get them ready for action.
It's like stretching before exercise.
Exactly. It's all about preparing your mouth. I love that this article also mentions how conquering a tough tongue twister can boost your confidence. Like you've achieved something.
It's true. That sense of accomplishment can spill over into other areas of language learning, make you more willing to practice, try new things.
Okay, I am definitely feeling inspired to add some tongue twisters to my daily routine, but we've covered a lot of ground already, and there's even more to explore in this article. Stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive, where we'll keep untangling the world of tongue twisters and uncover even more secrets to mastering pronunciation.
Welcome back to our tongue twister adventure. So in part one, we were talking about how these little phrases can actually be powerful tools for language learning, help you be clearer, more fluent.
Yeah. And help us pinpoint those tricky sounds.
Exactly.
I'm already feeling inspired to practice more, but I'm curious, are there specific situations where tongue twisters are, like, extra helpful?
You know, the article actually mentions that using them to warm up before an English lesson or even a presentation.
That's smart, like a little workout.
Exactly. You wouldn't jump into a workout without stretching first, right?
No way.
So think of tongue twisters as stretches for your tongue and vocal cords. Get everything ready for action.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And speaking of feeling prepared, the article also mentioned confidence. Tongue twisters can help with that too, especially for people who might feel a bit shy about speaking English.
It's true. When you finally nail a tricky tongue twister, you feel good. It's like proof you can handle those pronunciation challenges.
Like that aha moment when you finally solve a puzzle.
Exactly. And that confidence can spill over into other parts of language learning, make you more willing to practice, try new things.
So it's not just about the technical stuff. It's also about how you feel about speaking.
Right. Developing a good relationship with speaking and pronunciation.
It's amazing to me how something as simple as a tongue twister can do all that.
It is. It shows how we can learn in all sorts of ways. Sometimes the best tools are the ones that don't even feel like work.
I couldn't agree more. But before we get too far, can we go back to something we mentioned earlier? About how tongue twisters can show how your native language affects your pronunciation.
Oh, yeah, that's fascinating. It's like a language fingerprint.
I love that. Can we get some more real-life examples of how that works?
Sure. Let's imagine someone learning English, but their first language is Spanish. They might have trouble with the B and the V sounds.
Oh, because in Spanish, they're pretty much interchangeable.
Right, so a tongue twister like Betty Botter bought some butter, that could be really tough.
It's like those sounds are wired differently in their brain because of their first language.
Exactly. And it's not just about the sounds themselves. It affects rhythm, intonation, even where we put the emphasis on certain syllables.
So it's like our native language gives us this blueprint for pronunciation. And then we try to use that blueprint for other languages.
A pronunciation blueprint. I like that. And sometimes we have to tweak that blueprint a bit when we're learning a new language.
I definitely felt that when I was learning Spanish. That rolled R, my biggest enemy.
That's normal. It just means your tongue and vocal cords need some extra practice to master those new sounds and patterns.
Like learning a new dance step. Awkward at first, but then...
Smooth and natural with practice.
Exactly. And that's what makes language learning so cool. You're constantly challenging yourself to get better and better.
You said it. This is all so interesting. It really makes you appreciate how complex language is. All those subtle ways our first language affects how we speak.
Me too. And our exploration is just getting started. In part 3, we're going to shift gears a bit. Talk about some practical tips and techniques for actually using tongue twisters in your language learning.
Get ready for more tongue twisting fun.
We're back. Ready for more tongue twister action?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
So we've been having a blast talking about why tongue twisters are so cool, but now it's time to get practical, right? Like, how do we actually use them to get better at pronunciation?
Exactly. We've talked about the why. Now it's time for the how.
This article, it's got some really great tips for adding tongue twisters to our language learning routine.
One of the biggest things is to start slow and focus on getting it right, not on speed.
It's like slow and steady wins the race, right?
Exactly. Rushing through it won't help.
It's about, well, like building muscle memory in your mouth,
Yeah.
in your brain.
Think of it like learning a new dance move. You wouldn't try to do the whole routine at full speed right away.
Oh no, I'd be a mess.
So we got to break those tongue twisters down. Focus on each little step, each sound.
Makes sense. It's like learning a song, verse by verse, then the chorus. Then you put it all together.
Perfect analogy. And another tip is to pay attention to the sounds that trip you up. Like, are there certain letters or combinations that you just can't seem to get right?
So it's like figuring out your pronunciation weaknesses and then using specific tongue twisters to target those areas.
Exactly, like a personalized workout for your pronunciation.
Love that.
What else? Oh, this is a good one. Record yourself. Say the tongue twister, then listen back. You'll be surprised what you hear.
Oh, I know, right? Sometimes I don't even recognize my own voice.
It's because when we're speaking, we're so focused on what we want to say, we don't always hear how it actually comes out. Recording yourself lets you be more objective.
It's like a mirror, but for pronunciation.
And then you can compare your recording to a native speaker. See what needs tweaking.
So you can really fine-tune your pronunciation.
And you know what else is important? Consistency. Even a few minutes a day makes a difference.
It's those small, consistent things that add up over time.
Absolutely. Make tongue twisters part of your routine.
So, big takeaway for everyone listening. We have this fun, easy, and effective tool right at our fingertips to boost our pronunciation skills and our confidence in speaking English.
And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about having fun with it. Enjoy the process.
Exactly. Play with language, experiment with sounds, and have fun while you learn. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll all be tongue twister champions. But until then, keep practicing, keep exploring, keep having fun with language.